Hello, dear and beloved students. It's your favorite science teacher, Mr. Heckenlively, coming to you on Monday, March 30th. To get this started, let's begin with some wonderful coffee. Coffee really gets a teacher going in the morning. Okay, so let's start with what you're all concerned about first, virus facts. So there's been a new study showing that 79 out of 80 people who got the appropriate meds, that's the hydroxychloroquine, that's the zithromycin, and zinc, completely recovered from COVID-19. The one person who did not recover was supposedly an 86-year-old with many pre-existing health conditions. Other things that are going on, lots more testing is going on. This is a wonderful thing because we really don't have good data on how widespread this virus is. But the unanticipated consequence of that is for the next couple days, it's going to sound really scary, okay? Because a lot of more people are going to be tested, and when you test a lot more people, then you're going to get more numbers. But what seems to be happening is about only 10% of the people who actually go and get themselves tested because they think they have something actually have the virus. So what that means is 90% of the people who think they have this virus actually don't have it. So that should give us some confidence that this is really not going to be that severe. And I just want to reinforce my previous claim that human beings are going to beat the living snot out of this virus, okay? So that may happen. You may start to get that news this week, maybe next week, but we're going to get through this, so I really don't want you guys to stress too much over that, okay? Follow all the precautions and everything, and I think that's wonderful. Be nice to your family, be nice to your siblings. We're going to get through this and we're going to be better for it. Okay, so I want to talk about the rat attack video because I think this is a wonderful example of how science has the capability to change people's lives and how to answer difficult questions. So what they were finding in Northeast India is that every 48 years there would be an explosion in the rat population, and these rats would devastate the local economy because the rats would eat the food that was in the field. So it was a big problem. And they had some information starting out that it seemed to be linked to the flowering of the bamboo tree. That was what the native people had said, and that seemed like a really good place to start. But one of the problems that they had is that they knew that the bamboo trees fruited, but what they didn't know was what was the time sequence, because you didn't simply have a flowering of the bamboo tree and then suddenly there was a rat invasion. It seemed to take about 30 weeks between the flowering of the bamboo tree and for this explosion of rats to happen. And so what I thought was really interesting in the video was they went through what was happening with these rats. So these rats were normally not a large part of the forest population. There really wasn't a lot of great food for them in the forest, but suddenly what happened with this flowering of the bamboo tree is that suddenly there was a huge amount of food in the environment. And so with all of that food, what happened was the physiology of the rats actually changed. They became super breeders, and so these rats who would normally not have lots of offspring, suddenly a female rat could give birth to 200 offspring over several, over several months, okay? And so that seemed to be the problem, that suddenly there was a whole bunch of food in the environment. This triggered a change in the animals, and so they figured that it was about 30 weeks after flowering of the bamboo tree that these rats, became, their numbers increased so dramatically that they caused a challenge and a danger to the local people there. So again, in my mind, this is just another example that science has the ability to answer difficult and challenging questions. So it's a really good model for how we like science to work. Okay, so we're going to continue with this idea of science answering difficult questions. So the assignment for today is to look at the question of mussel invasion, and specifically zebra mussel invasion. So originally the zebra mussels came from Russia, but they started popping up in various locations in the United States, like the Great Lakes. And so the question is, how are they invading the Great Lakes? Is this some kind of Russian plot? Oh no, the Russians are coming back. They're messing with us again. Or is it the result of some kind of foolish human actions? So I've got it in both your School Loop account, or the School Loop locker. I've also put it on Google Classroom. Okay, so let me take a couple minutes to talk about something that I think is important. Okay, so I have mentioned that this is really an unprecedented time, and I think that the administrators are trying to figure out the best way to handle this, both academically and socially. And so I understand why students have, why the administration in the district has said, well, we're going to continue classes, but we're not going to necessarily give out credit and everything. I kind of understand that there are a lot of challenges. But what I really want to encourage you to do is to watch these videos and to do the work. And so, what I'm going to be doing is, I would really like, when you finish the Zebra Mussel Invasion day one, even if you can't, submit it to me through Google Classroom, because I'm still trying to figure that out. What I would like you to do is to send me a quick little email saying, like, I finished it, and maybe include one sort of comment about it. I do have the roster, and so I'll keep notes that way. And so I would really like to make sure that as you guys are home, that you are continuing to keep up with your work. And so even though I don't have a lot of great answers for you on the question of credit and everything, I would really like to be keeping a running tally of you guys on whether you're doing the assignments. And another thing that I can do is, it's really easy for me to go onto YouTube and use the analytics there to see which of you are actually watching these videos, so I can look that way. So I really want to encourage you, really during this unprecedented time, to act like this is regular school, and to do your work. And this is your education, this is your life, and let's really keep up with it. Okay, that's really all I have to say for today, and go science.